can now have questions to the panel as such. You can address it to anybody. Are there any more questions? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure if this is working. It's basically something that Suresh said. We were talking about the value of a company. One of the things that wasn't brought up by you, and I forgot to mention it myself, is the existing company client base. The, in our case, for instance, our reviewer base. In general, it's the database that you have. That is part of the valuation, I would assume?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay.
Sure. There are, I don't know exactly your situation, but I gave some examples of metric-based valuation where there is a value to each user you have in the company. Or if the clients are revenue generating and are able to generate cash flow now, so you have value based on discounted cash flow method. So you could use either of the two, and then you have to convince a potential investor higher of the two numbers.
Right.
Any more questions?
Actually,
Yes, please.
I am curious, as a student that's also trying to be an entrepreneur and with limited experience, most of the sources of fundings are unavailable for me, such as family and friends, angels, and venture capitalists because of my lack of experience. Is there enough government sources to help me to start my company and make it succeed?
As Lalit did mention, that we are going to have a separate session in the coming weeks which will focus on specifically government incentives. What kind of incentives are available from both federal as well as provincial government for entrepreneurs. So that would be, that could potentially be an area we can address. There are, and angels are not angels who come from sky. Angels are people who are sitting here. If you, as Jed said, if you pitch an idea, you never know where you will find an angel who is interested in your idea and is probably willing to invest.
And take his recommendation on getting into contests or in other words, again, if you get a chance to go to an MBA class and get into a competition, etc., do that. There are there's a group called Extreme Labs that will look at, they'll take anybody, and if you got a great idea, they will incubate you. So there's more incubator programs coming up. I think the Ryerson has it, or their TMZ zone, etc. So there are ways to sort of get yourself exposed and possibly get an opportunity.
And it may not happen in time for you, but I think there is growing awareness that in the funding of post-secondary education, we allow people to get funding to do a PhD, but we don't allow people funding for 4 years to develop a product. And an incubation strategy that matches a PhD strategy, which is not uncommon in a country like Germany, is something that's going to happen here. I just hope it happens next year as opposed to 2016. The faster that happens, the better. I mean, the number of times somebody like you comes in and says, well, I have this great idea, but and the only option is to do a PhD in acoustical engineering or a PhD in design or whatever it is that your idea is in. That's not what a PhD is for. So there's a gap. There is definitely a gap. People understand this. It will be fixed. The question is whether it's 2016 or next year.
I'll just add here one thing. One of the program TIE is offering is called TIE Quest Business Venture Competition, and Chad participated in that competition and won in 2010. This competition gives $150,000 of prize money if you are successful, and also connects you to a number of potential sources of funding. So I'll encourage you to consider and participate in the competition. It will help you develop a better pitch, as well as hopefully get you some funding.
So question over here. Our company is gaining some traction in the market, and we're looking to go for the first round. And the question is, what is the best place to start in Canada, and also how do you get access to U.S. funding, because we're looking, our primary market would be States.
You know, as part of the Thai Institute offering, we have a program of Thai mentoring, where maybe in the next coming week or so, all those people who have attended all the sessions so far will be matched with a mentor in your industry. So this is a specific question you should pose your mentor, and these mentors are successful entrepreneurs who spend time in understanding your business and then giving you advice on that specific area.
And if I can just add to that, I mean, to underline Jad's point about just, we're not the only city that has competitions. I mean, if you want to go to Buffalo, if you want to go to Rochester, and I'm not, you know, nobody thinks of Buffalo and Rochester as hotbed towns. Rochester still has a lot of very technologically literate, smart people around, and they have their kinds of competitions to promote local entrepreneurship. You are exotic in Rochester. You know, you're from somewhere else, and those are, if you're really that serious about being targeted, or that focused on being targeted in the U.S. market, I think that's just a great opportunity to take to advance to follow Jad's basic excellent advice of compete, pitch.
What is the trade-off then? Right now, it's basically either my time spent on pitching or actually acquiring more markets. So right now, like, I have like a bunch of clinics lined up. Oh, sorry.
So, look, what do you want to get out of pitching?
Well, so we want to scale fast.
You want to scale fast. So what do you need to scale fast?
Money.
Money, right? How are you going to get that money if you don't pitch and get attention? What are you going to do? What's your trade-off? I don't understand what the trade-off is. The trade-off is get money or build something with no money. For me, it's not a trade-off, right? That's my view. You need the money, go get it, right? Focus on it, get as much as you need. Sorry, get more than what you think you need, right? We thought we needed $1 million.
Right.
We raised much more than that, right?
Yeah.
So how much do you need? Double it, even triple it, and go raise that. Right? Because in my opinion, there is no trade-off. If you want to scale fast, which is your objective, there's only one way to do it. You need the cash to do it. And if you're not going to grow organically, which can happen very rarely, you know, there's only one option left.
But just to underline and to compliment Jad on something he said in the up there, you know, you have the skill and the intuitive skill to know when you're wasting your time in a pitch.
Right.
And so you don't spend 6 hours in a pitch to a guy, you know, at an airport, when he's clearly not going to go anywhere with you. And I mean, Jad has that skill in spades.
Absolutely. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to jump on that point, but you know, Jim was saying that. I remembered this incident very clearly. You know, this big VC firm in the U.S. I'm not going to mention its name, but they invited us to go pitch to them. You know, within 3 minutes, I told my co-founder, I told him, you know, I gave him the signal, let's get out, because I didn't want, you know, it was, you just get that feeling, you know, you're just, it's just not a match, and you're not getting anywhere, and I wanted to go see other people, right? So,
yeah.
And you walk out of the room.
And that's the teachable lesson.
Yeah, and in my opinion, you only learn that by doing that pitch so many times that you start reading how people react to what you're pitching.
Any more questions? All right, we had a wonderful session. Before we thank the speakers and I call my Thai chair to come here, I did want to tell you that next week we do not have a session. We have a session week after, that's November 3rd, and it's on naming and branding your startup. You will get an announcement in mail as well. And week after, we have a session on structuring your startup. That's on November 10th. And November 17th, we have leveraging your network. We will be announcing these sessions. Please do keep a lookout for that. If you're interested, please do register early. And as always, please do fill the feedback form, because when 50 people attend and I get only 10 forms, it's not a very good feeling. The only thing I ask you is please give me 50 feedback forms. And I now request.
Thank you, Moji. Round of applause for the program director. I know I have missed a couple of sessions for my health, not able to travel, but most of you are coming here regularly, and we thank you for that encouragement. And because of that feedback, we continue to alter, and this is our opportunity to continue to improve. So we do need your feedback with the attendance sheet, and I encourage you to go online, and like when we started this session, the couple of new words that I learned about entrepreneurs is unreasonable optimism. And what I experienced today with the last speaker was unreasonable passion. And there is no stop to it. And with those words, we like to close the session, but before we do this, I would like to invite our esteemed guest to come forward, Jim DeWitt. And Mr. Barry Welke.
Yeah.
And very rare opportunities I get to give something to Suresh Madam. You know, this whole notion of time started with giving back. And I have not seen anybody better than Suresh in giving back. So, one round of applause. And finally, Mr. Zach Yegi.
I have that habit.
So fine.
And once again, thanks to you all. And we'll see you not next week, but the week after November 3rd.